Captain Mara Vance pressed her back against a shattered ferrocrete wall, the alien patrol's hover tracks rumbling past 50 meters away. Boots crunched on debris. Her gloved hands signaled, hold. The last Croth patrol crested the hill, their sensor whips scanning the ruins. No pings returned. They accelerated into the mist. Total blackout, Vance whispered into her bone conduction mic. No emissions, Rios, eyes only, confirm. Sergeant Kaito Rios nodded from his hide in the storm drain, his passive array already spiderwebbing the shadows. Blackout confirmed, Cap. Patrol's clean. They're logging it as zero resistance. Vance exhaled. The Croth thought silence meant surrender. Good, let them. She crawled to Rios's position, the team's optic feed patching through fiber line. No radio waves, just wire. Rios tapped his wrist slate. Deploying sniffers now. He thumbed 3 palm-sized pods into the wind. They hummed faintly, then went dark, latching onto thermal updrafts. Vance watched the overlay bloom. Croth Patrol signatures lit up. Command net on 47.2 GHz, drone relays at 12 terahertz bursts. Rios tagged them green, harmless chatter. Yellow for logistics pings, red for fire control. Every transmitter, Rios murmured. Their op commander loves status reports. Got his HQ van pinned 3 clicks east, echoes off the canyon walls. Vance nodded. Feed it to Sato. Mercer, your turn. Warrant Officer Eli Mercer slithered from his scrap pile, a jury-rigged launcher in hand. Micros away. He squeezed the trigger. 10 thumb-sized drones ejected, wings unfolding midair. They banked low, skimming ruins like gnats. Mercer synced his slate. Caching to buried relays. First drop, patrol route alpha. A drone burrowed into loose soil, uploading compressed footage before powering down. Vance scanned the grid. Civilian pockets flickered, huddled families in basements, heat sigs faint but steady, no movement. Lieutenant Sato, Vance said, no strike grid. Lieutenant Annika Sato, cross-legged beside her, stylus flying over the holomap. Grid locked. Civi blocks in blue, our hides in green. Parade route overlays red right through the market square. Vance leaned in. The feed showed it, Croth armor columns snaking toward the central plaza, banners whipped in the wind. War Executor Atrax Corps' banner led, skull motifs on crimson. They're celebrating, Sato said. Quiet planet, no shots fired in 72 hours. Atrax thinks he broke us. Rios chuckled softly. His interpreter's feeding him that line. Sales reports, humans collapse under pressure. Blind, Mercer grinned. Our pressure's building, drones on station, parades packing the square, commanders brass, no bodyguards clumped. Vance's jaw tightened. 3 days ago, Croth patrols torched a refugee camp after no response to their surrender hails. Yesterday, they glassed a hydro farm. Escalation. They mistook patience for fear. Not anymore. Build the list, Vance ordered. Prioritize Atrax's van first, then fire directors. Logistics hubs last. Sato's fingers danced. Kill chain sinking. Rios's tags to my fires. Mercer's eyes confirm. Cap, we pop this, their net goes blind. A drone feed sharpened. Atrax Corps strode the plaza atop his command platform, interpreter Sale at his side. Croth troops cheered, plasma lances raised. Sale leaned in, subvocalizing. Atrax barked laughter, gesturing at the empty sky. Victory parade, Rio said. He's calling reinforcements home, thinks the fight's done. Vance watched Atrax punch a fist skyward. Croth doctrine, crush fast, hold loose. They'd stripped out her defenses, funneled everything here. Her slate pinged, Mercer's cache full. Drones repositioned, got interior shots, Atrax's staff clustered. Sales got a tablet, probably our psych profile. Psych profile says we're cowards, Sato added. No anger, no rash moves. Vance's team worked in sync. Rios refined signatures, isolating Atrax's personal burst transmitter. Mercer patched drone relays deeper, threading under Croth treads. Sato layered the grid, strike zones red, buffers yellow, civies sacrosanct, hours blurred. Parade peaked, Croth officers disembarked, medals clinking. Atrax mounted his van, Sale trailing with data slates. Target list gold, Sato said. 40 primaries. Chain reaction, lose Atrax, comms fragment. Lose fire control, armor stalls, logistics die, they starve. Vance reviewed the holo. Clean lines, no collateral. Her restraint had lured them in fat. A new ping, Croth net chatter spiked. Atrax's voice boomed through Rios's sniffers, translated rough by cached algos. Executor Atrax to all units, sector secured. Human resolve shattered. Escalate purges raise the underlevels at dawn. Sale's voice followed. Confirmed, Executor. Their silence confirms morale collapse. No cultural precedent for prolonged restraint. Vance's fist clenched. Dawn purges, thousands. Enough, she said. Sato, spin up the chain. Rios, jam prep. Mercer, drones hot. The team moved. Rios armed EMP micros on key transmitters. Mercer overclocked relays, feeding live to Sato's fire queue. She keyed the off-world link, buried laser comm, invisible. Orbital assets, Sato murmured. Precision packets inbound, 12 minutes to window. Vance sighted her rail rifle on a distant Croth sentry. Parade drums echoed. Atrax's Van idled center plaza, oblivious. They're dancing on our graves, Rio said. Not today. Sato's slate chimed, first strike authorized. Vance keyed squad net, still wired, silent to foes. Positions on my mark. Croth cheers swelled. Atrax raised his staff. Rios' overlay flashed, all tags locked. Mercer's drones hummed standby. Sato, breath steady. Fire's hot. Vance squeezed her trigger guard, patience ended. Mark. Rios' EMP micros detonated first, invisible pulses frying Atrax's command van antenna. The executor froze mid-speech, staff officers scrambling. Sato's voice cut clean. Orbital execute package Alpha 1. Sky cracked. Precision rods slammed plaza edges, vanes vaporized, fire directors pulped. Croth screamed as chain explosions ripped logistics trucks. Atrax bellowed orders, nothing transmitted. His net died. Mercer's drones swarmed, lasers slicing officer knots. Sato vectored them flawless, one burst per target, no overkill. Vance fired, rail slug punched a staffer's chest plate. He dropped. Croth returned fire wild, plasma scorching ruins, but their chain broke. Armor milled confused, no fire control. Sato called next wave. Beta strikes on grid red 7. Armor kill. More rods fell. Treads erupted. Atrax dragged Sail behind wreckage, roaring into a dead calm. What sorcery? Sail stammered. They planned. Silence was trap. Vance's team advanced, shadows lethal. Rios jammed survivors. Mercer dropped demo charges on fuel dumps. Plaza burned. Atrax rallied a squad. Plasma volleys pinned Vance's advance. She rolled, tagged a gunner. Sato spot. Kinetic inbound. A rod erased the squad. Atrax alone now, wounded leg trailing. He fired blindly. Vance flanked, rifle steady. Sail yelled, mercy, cultural error, we misread. Vance paused. Atrax lunged, plasma grazed her shoulder. She fired, Atrax crumpled. Silence fell, broken by distant Croth route. Rios checked feeds. Their outer fleets recall too late, we've got the planet. Sato logged strikes. 0 civvy hits, chain perfect. Mercer grinned. Scrap to symphony. Vance stood amid flames, shoulder smoking. Restraint won wars. But scans pinged. Croth reinforcements inbound, orbital drop. She keyed the wire. Regroup, next list building. The underlevels waited. Dawn would break human. Plasma scorched the alley wall inches from Captain Mara Vance's boot. She rolled behind a dumpster, rifle up. Contact checkpoint ahead. Rios jammed their spotters. Sergeant Kaido Rios crouched beside her, fingers flying over his wrist rig. Emissions locked, jamming now. Static hissed in their earpieces. Alien shouts cut off mid-bark. The patrol, 6 Croth-empowered exos, plasma lances sweeping, halted. Their leader barked into a comm, voice garbled. No response. Vance signaled, down. Lieutenant Annika Sato and Warrant Officer Eli Mercer low-crawled up. They're tightening, Sato whispered. Saw them drag 3 civvies for scans, no passes today. Vance nodded, harsher checkpoints, she'd predicted it. Sewers, reroute to grid blue 4, Rios, snag that command chatter. Mercer popped the grate with a shaped charge whisper. They dropped in, boots splashing filth. Vance led night vision painting tunnels green. Distant rumbles marked convoy cycles above, every 17 minutes now overlapping. Timing it, she murmured. Team moved single file, mapping grates to surface grids. First cycle, 1642. Second, 1705, patterns emerged. Crackdowns accelerated patrols, but humans counted seconds. Rios tapped his rig. Got a burst. Command net. Triangulating. His display flickered. Vectors converged on a mobile node, armored van circling the central plaza. Atrax's fist. He's authorizing the squeeze. Vance paused at a junction. Play it. Rios patched through, voice synth translating Croth gutturals to crisp English. War Executor Atrax Corps' voice boomed. Rebels hide in silence, double checkpoints, full-body scans, no human passes without Neil scan, force them out. Interpreter Sale replied, *executor, humans show submission signals, lowered eyes, clustered groups, radio black, morale collapsed. Atrax grunted. Good, escalate public punishments at plazas, whips for curfew breaks, broadcast executions for bombers, break their will. Static cut, Rios grinned. Node pinned, pattern clockwise loop 20-click radius, stops at plaza every third pass. Vance's jaw tightened, public punishments, civvy deaths incoming, restraint held until now. Sato mark grids for strikes, Rios track enforcers. Mercer drone prep. They surfaced at Blue 4, shadows in a gutted warehouse. Convoys thundered past, tanks, troop haulers 1722, perfect clock. Sato unfolded her tack pad. Orbital assets green, rods queued, need certainties. Mercer unpacked his kit, scrap batteries, salvaged Croth drone husks, code splices. Swarm ready, 10 birds loiter 2 hours, eyes on enforcers. Vance scanned the street. Croth dragged a man from a doorway, whip cracks echoed. Crowd knelt, eyes down. Submission signals, Sale called it. Vance keyed private channel. Civvies buying time, we're the hammer, Rios nodded. Another intercept, Sale briefing Atrax direct. Audio crackled, Sale's precise tone. Executor, human psychology, silence equals fear. No uprisings in occupied histories match this passivity. Recommend plaza spectacles. Hang 5 per district, broadcast on their nets, they fold. Atrax, do it. Mobile node deploys to East Plaza first, armor support, crush ghosts. Rios traced the loop. East Plaza, 40 minutes. Our grid. Vance's team ghosted forward. Sewers spat them near the route. They cached at a rail overpass overlooking the kill zone. Convoys cycled, 1739. Eli's drones buzzed awake, silent as moths slipping into overcast skies. ISR live, Rios said. Feeds bloomed on shared tack, Croth enforcers herding civvies to plaza stakes. Whips fell, screams rose, Sato's voice stayed ice. Confirming targets, grid red 1, enforcer squad, red 2, punishment platform, red 3, node van. Vance sighted her railgun. Hold fire. Build certainty. Patience multiplied force. Aliens mistook it for break. Mercer tweaked a drone. Fuel air payloads on scrap chaff. Node gets the demo kiss. Drones circled, painting lasers. Rios jammed enforcer chatter, panic spikes as humans vanished from scans. Atrax's node rolled in plaza edge. Croth rallied, plasma towers erecting. Sato called orbital. JTAC Sato, cert on red grids, burst per target, no overkill. Vance watched the clock. Convoys locked, next wave pinned. Execute chain. First rod dropped silent. Node van vaporized, Atrax's fist crushed, shrapnel shredded nearby armor. Croth milled, comms dead. Enforcers fired blind into crowds. Vance's rail barked, slug cord a lance gunner. Team advanced, precise. Sato, beta on red 2, platform kill. Rod struck. Stakes erupted, handlers flung. Civvies scattered, 0 hits. Rios, outer nets lighting, Atrax screaming for rally. Mercer's drones dove, payloads blooming fire on fuel trucks. Plaza Inferno. Croth countervolley pinned them behind slag. Vance rolled left, tagged a flank gunner. Sato spot. Kinetic inbound, grid red 7. Rod erased the squad, armor treads popped like fireworks. Rios patched final intercept, Atrax dragging wounded Sale, what sorcery they planned. Sale stammered, silence, trap, submission false. Vance flanked through smoke. Atrax limped into view, plasma raised wild, Sale waved rags. Mercy, cultural error, misread. Atrax lunged, plasma grazed Vance's shoulder, armor sparked. She fired center mass, Atrax crumpled, silence blanketed flames, Rios checked feeds. Command net dark, outer fleets recall hesitant. Sato logged, clean strikes, chain perfect. Mercer grinned, slapping a drone husk. Scrap sings. Vance stood, shoulder hot, restraint forged the blade. Scans pinged, orbital drops inbound, Croth reinforcements, she keyed comms. Regroup under levels, next list building. Sewers beckoned. Convoys burned above, their clock ticked eternal, but Rios froze. New burst, Atrax backup live. War Executor Vex assumes command, full purge order. Vance smiled thin, tighten again, she'd count the seconds. Mercer crawled through the junction's underbelly, fingers twisting wires into a jury-rigged capacitor bank. Vance watched from the sewer grate above, her rifle trained on the patrol drone humming 50 meters out. Status, warrant. EMP nest live. Mercer whispered over comms. Primed for overload. Tower's main feed runs right through here. Flip the switch and it blacks out clean. She nodded to herself. Croth sensor towers pierced the city skyline like spines, feeding Atrax's replacement, War Executor Vex, real-time eyes on every block. Vex's purge order crackled across intercepted bursts, scorched the underlevels, glassed the resistors, but humans didn't charge blind. They waited, planned, turned silence into steel traps. Link confirmed, Rios murmured from his perch in the shadows. Towers pulling 2 gigs a second through this node. Backup Jenny's isolated, Sato's got eyes on it. Vance keyed her team net. Sato, paint the switchover. Affirm, Lieutenant Sato replied, her voice ice over the laser designator's hum. She crouched on a rooftop 2 clicks east, scope locked on the tower's base. Croth guards milled below, antennae twitching at phantom pings. Primary draw dropping, backup spooling now. Mercer thumbed the detonator. The first explosion was small, a sharp crackle like a transformer popping in a storm. No fireball, no debris shower, just a powered junction vomiting sparks into the dark. Vance's HUD flickered as the alien network went dark in exactly the wrong place. The tower's primary array winked out, leaving a perfect blind wedge over the central data vault. Rios chuckled low. Emissions flatlined. Vex's Overwatch just lost their downtown map. Strike, Vance ordered. Sato's laser stabbed the backup generator. Orbital kinetic grid Echo 4, single rod, no spread. High above, a railgun slug from the human frigate Asterisk Endurance dropped silent. It kissed atmosphere at Mach 25, slamming the Jenny housing. The tower shuddered. Backup arrays sparked and died. Croth sentries scattered, barking into dead comms. Vance vaulted the grate. Raid window open. Rios, spoof it. Mercer, drones on Overwatch. Move. Her team ghosted forward through the blind zone, a kilometer of alleyways and gutted habs the tower once blanketed. No alarms wailed. No hunter-killers swarmed. Vex's forces chased ghosts on the flanks, purged teams torching empty blocks. Mercer lobbed microdrones ahead, their rotors whispering like moths. Blind confirmed. Vault doors Croth standard, biolocked. Gimme 30. Vance covered the approach, boots silent on shattered plasteel. A lance of Croth scouts rounded the corner, 6 warriors, plasma lances hot. They froze, mandibles clicking confusion at the outage. Contact, she hissed. Mercer slapped a charge on the vault. Not us, eyes front. The scouts chittered, antennae probing the dark. No humans visible, no fire. They advanced cautious, lances sweeping shadows. Vance held fire, patience multiplied rounds. Rios fed her their chatter via implant, tower dark. Rebels silent, push vault, data core priority. Sato's voice cut in. Purge teams vectoring your 6, 2 mics out, drones painting. Mercer's drones struck first. Payloads burst midair, shrapnel shredding scout armor. Limbs flew, plasma vented wild. Vance rolled through the gap. Breach! Mercer yanked the vault door. Biolock fried from the EMP ripple. Inside, glowing data core, fist-sized crystal pulsing intel dumps to Vex's fleet. No guards, they'd pulled to the purge. She scooped it, slotting it into her pack's Faraday cage. Core secure, exfil vectors. Rios' spoof kicked in. He bounced the tower's last legit heartbeat, faked pings of nominal power, looping sensor ghosts. Vex's net bought it. Alarms delayed by precious minutes. They're chasing their own tails, Rios said. Vex demanding sensor reset. Sales translating your silence as total collapse again. Vance grinned under her visor. Let them. Restraint wasn't fear. It was the fuse. They melted into the underlevels, core humming secrets. Mercer resealed the junction behind them, another trap primed for round 2. Sato pinged from Overwatch. Purge lead element entering blind, recommend fire. Hold, Vance said. Let them cluster. Croth treaders rumbled topside, venting plasma into empty sewers. Vex's voice boomed over open channels, intercepted clean. Silence confirms submission. Purge the nests, core extraction secondary. Interpreter sales translation followed, hesitant. Captain Vance's people. They do not rage, this is defeat posture. Advance. Vance's team hugged the walls, breath synced. Rios mapped the incursion, 20 heavies lance support flooding the blind wedge. Mercer's drones ghosted ahead, seeding choke points with smart minds. Fuel air mixes ready, say the word. Cluster max, she replied. Scans showed them piling in, treaders bottlenecking, infantry stacking behind. Now, Sato lit the grid. Multiple kinetics inbound. Rods rained. First hit vaporized the lead treader, shockwave pulped the stack. Secondary blasts chain-reacted Mercer's mixes, turning the wedge into a furnace. Croth's screams echoed, cut short. Vance checked feeds, Vex's net spasmed. Impossible, silence was bait. Sale stammered live, War Executor, human restraint. It builds, they count our moves. Abort purge too late. Rio spoofed a fleet recall ping laced with core data ghosts, faked human positions, drawing orbitals off-axis. Vance keyed the team. Core decrypt inbound, Rios pull Vex's patrol routes. Sato next tower queued. Locked, Sato said. Mercer slapped a fresh drone battery. Scrap to spears, ready. They pushed deeper, clock ticking. Vex rallied remnants, but the data core spilled it all. Supply lines, drop zones, Sale's full reports painting humans as broken. Patience equals fear, Sale had written. No broadcasts, no riots, morale shattered. Vance decrypted the first tranche en route. Vex's purge targeted civvy holds empty traps, pre-evac by her whispers weeks back. They're walking our kill chain, she murmured. Rios grinned in the gloom. Vex doubling down. Crush the quiet ones. A new burst hit, orbital scans relit partial nets. Croth heavies dropped into the plaza above, grav chutes blooming, Mercer cursed. Blind closing. Vance halted the team at a nexus. Fortify, Sato. Platforms spooled, Sato cut in. But Vex flagged the frigate, jammers up. Conflict sharpened. Vex adapted Croth's strength, numbers, and firepower, but humans turned it against them. Local fires, Vance ordered. Mercer rigged the nexus, Rios jam their drops. Mercer tore panels, splicing batteries into railgun coils. Improvising suppressors, 10 mics. Rios cracked a Croth freak. Spoofing drop coords, scatter 'em into our lanes. Vance sighted the first shoot. Croth warrior hit plasteel, rolling prone. Plasma swept the grates. She fired, headshot, body slumped. More dropped 20-30, Vex's roar, pin them, data core priority. Sale interjected, they fight silent still. Traps everywhere, plasma scorched Vance's cover. She rolled, tagged the gunner. Team poured fire, Rios sniped antennae arrays, blinding squads. Mercer's coils spat slugs, shredding chutes mid-drop. Sato called ground support. Artillery inbound, danger close. Shells walked the plaza, Croth armor popped. Vex's line buckled. Rios patched Vex direct, core lost. Humans counterpurge. Recall, Vex snarled back, no, they break now, but the core's data burned it, every Croth move predicted, prepped. Vance flanked through the dead. Vex loomed in the smoke, blade raised, Sail cowering behind. Yield, she broadcast, Engelished to Croth auto. Vex lunged. Vance sidestepped, rifle butt cracking mandible. He staggered, Sail waved frantically. Mercy, misread your quiet, strategy. Vex swung wild. Vance fired, suppressed center mass. He dropped. Silence fell, broken by distant treads. Rio scanned. Outer nets reforming, Vex down, next executor hesitating. Sato logged strikes. Chain intact. Mercer recovered Vex's pad. Fleet manifests, jackpot. Vance keyed regroup. Underlevels, phase 2. Scans pinged, massive Croth battle group inbound, orbital umbrella deploying. She smiled. Tighten the noose. Count the seconds. R. Rios' scanner chirped. Executor Atrax's Vanguard, 6 heavies, drone screens, supply tail dragging, perfect chokepoint ahead. Captain Mara Vance crouched in the underlevel gloom, her team arrayed behind ferrocrete pillars. Echoes of the plaza firefight still rang in her ears, Vex's death gurgle, the data core's final purge. Fresh Croth treads rumbled topside, shaking dust from the vents. Sato shifted, her JTAC slate glowing. One volley, ma'am, artillery sinks clean, we break their momentum. Mercer grinned, hefting Vex's captured pad. Rigged demo charges from their own packs, Boom City. Vance scanned the holofeed, easy kill, tempting. The convoy's lead tanks lumbered into sensor range, plasma turrets swiveling blind. Her finger tightened on her rifle. But no, revenge blinded, patience mapped. Belay that, no ambush, Rios, deeper push. Emissions matrix, link every ping to unit ID, routes, resupply. We own their pattern before we own their hulls. Rios nodded, fingers flying over his rig. Copy, ghosting their bands now. Sato's eyes narrowed. They're probing weak, ma'am, hit them piecemeal. Denied. Vance keyed her visor. They escalate if we twitch. Let Atrax think us shattered. Rios, talk. The team melted into shadows, drones whispering ahead. Vance led the creep through service tunnels, stale air thick with coolant fumes. Croth boots stomped overhead, oblivious. Rios patched in low. Got command net. Atrax core online Vex's replacement. Bragging to fleet. Human silence confirms collapse. Purge resistors full advance. Vance's jaw set. Atrax, competent, arrogant, perfect. Feed it here. Rios's hollow bloomed midair, faint to evade sniffers. Emission spikes danced, blue for armor, red for drones, yellow supply chatter. Cross-reffing Vex's manifests. That cluster, 7th assault, fuel-dependent, loops east every 6 hours. Heavies tied to orbital drops, predictable windows. Vance traced a node. Lock it. Every beacon gets a thread. He nodded, algorithms chewing data. Lines spiderwebbed, convoy routes, rally points, even latrine breaks from bioscans. Matrix building, their whole battle group, 50 heavies, 200 walkers, drone swarms in a noose. Supply chokes here, command here. Mercer whistled low. Jackpot, IFF spoofers from Vex's scrap. Later, Vance pointed. Sato fires plan, distributed arty drones are tubes, rehearse time on target. Sato's slate synced to Rios's matrix. On it, goal, cascade failure. First wave blinds emitters, second severs supplies, third crushes command. Vance watched her work, fingers dancing. Sato murmured into her comm, linking hidden batteries, pre-sighted mortars in the ruins, drone loiterers from Phase 1. Rehearsal sim, T-30 on lead convoy. Emitters first, Rios tags, we jam, Artie walks the tail, danger close on heavies. Hollow flares erupted, virtual croth icons winking out in sequence. Perfect sync, no overlaps, maximum bleed. Shift window, Vance ordered. Atrax pushes faster, Sato adjusted. Rehearsed. Fires flex to emissions, certainty first. Vance nodded. Sato's comm built certainty, explosions followed. Mercer stirred scrap at their feet, croth antennae, power cells, Vex's pad guts. My turn, decoys incoming. Vance eyed the pile. Convert it. IFF bait make 'em chase ghosts. He cracked a croth transponder, soldering human code via field rig. Sparks flew. Their beacons scream friendly on our freaks, but flip to ours on trigger. Drones swarm 'em thinking resupply. We seed the matrix paths. Test ping. A jury-rigged drone buzzed up, locked on Mercer's fake. It circled, then detonated in sim, bait pulled. Bait beacons next. Scrap hulls pulsing human wreck signals. Draws walkers off route. Vance tested one herself, planted it in a vent. Hollow showed croth probes lighting up, diverting. Good, plant 10, Rios weave into matrix. Rios integrated. The web thickened, traps nested in every artery. Hours blurred. Team leapfrog tunnels, planting, scanning. Croth Vanguard rolled past overhead, turrets high, no shots. Silence, Rios's rig buzzed. Atrax intercept, escalating. No resistance, morale purge, torch the hab blocks, break the quiet. Vance froze, feeds confirmed, plasma lances raking civilian warrens. Screams ghosted through static, human noncoms, families, atrocities. Atrax's misread. Sato's fist clenched. They think fear we strike, Mercer growled. Fuelers still fat, easy now. Vance breath steady, restraint, weapon. No, net's not tight, hold. But her pulse hammered, innocence burned. Atrax forced the hand, deeper push. They ghosted under the battle group's gut, Rios's matrix glowing full. Every croth vein mapped, baited, fired. Atrax's voice crackled clearer via Sale's old liaison channel, captured pad hack. Interpreter Sale alive, trembling audio. Executor, human silent too long. Vex's data patterns, preparations, asterisk, Atrax barked over. Silence is surrender, purge deeper, orbital strike habs on my mark. Advance. Croth warriors whooped, treads thundering closer. Vance smiled cold, misread sealed. Rios matrix live, Sato windows green. Locked. Mercer decoys armed. Team eyes met hers, ready. Phase 2, transmit false panic, scramble their net, then execute kill chain. Rios hit send. Fake human chatter erupted, screams, route orders. Croth net lit wild, Atrax laughed in intercept. See, they break, full assault. Vance keyed all. Fires free, Titan. Artie whispered first. Emitters popped across the matrix. Croth drones spun blind. Decoys flared. Walkers veered into kill zones. Sato's voice steady. Tot on heavies. Walkers next. Shells rained. Heavies brewed. Secondaries chaining. Supply tails ignited. Fuel blooms lighting the night. Croth panic surged. Atrax roared. Trap. Sale warned. Humans patient, not broken. Sale's voice cut frantic. Too late. They're quiet. Weapon. Vance flanked a breach tank. Rifle barking. Rios sniped a fleeing antenna. Mercer's drones harried stragglers. Sato called the hammer. Orbital window, fleet assets blind. Ground the umbrella. Explosions chained, battle group crumbled, rooted, but scans pinged deeper. Atrax's reserves massing, orbital spears inbound, Vance reloaded. Regroup. Next news Titans. Rios grinned. Matrix updating, they're running scared now. She nodded. Patience won the board, Atrax learned too slow. Rios' console pinged sharp. Hunters deploying cap, Atrax's voice on net, full spectrum scans, continuous. 3 squads, Croth heavies leading. Captain Vance crouched in the ditch, eyes on her wrist display. The Matrix glowed, enemy icons swarming from the ridge. Atrax misread her silence again. Perfect. Mercer bait beacons hot, sequence 1. Warrant Officer Mercer thumbed his detonator. Faint hums rose from buried nodes across the valley. False heat signatures bloomed, mimicking panicked infantry clusters. Croth squads veered. Treads chewed earth. Active radars swept wide, painting the night in electromagnetic fury. Vance keyed her team net. Hold fire, let them chase ghosts. Sergeant Rios hunched over his rig, antennas spidering from his pack. He traced the scans, pulsing waves, doctrinal overlaps. Patterns locking, they're blind to low-M corridors here. His finger stabbed the map. Gaps glared red on her display. Atrax's intercept crackled through Rios' feed. Humans scatter like vermin, Sail confirm morale collapse. Interpreter Sail's voice hissed back. Radio silence broke, Executor, panic signatures match, but they're quiet before. Irrelevant, Atrax barked. Sweep and purge, no survivors. Vance's lip curled, bait pulled taut. First squad plunged into the map trench line, narrow defile, walls laced with Mercer's scrap mine triggers. Beacons pulsing, Mercer murmured. His drones buzzed low, relaying feeds. Croth walkers lumbered in, sensors screaming data. Rios logged every ping. Anti-ambush doctrine, they fan radars forward, neglect flanks, gaps at 270 degrees, feeding Sato. Lieutenant Sato nodded from her overlook, laser designator steady. Windows green, fires stacked. Vance watched icons converge. Second squad flanked wide, chasing a decoy flare. Mercer popped from junk circuits. Third trailed, radars overlapping the leaders. Pull tighter, she ordered. Mercer amped beacons, fake Vox bursts, garbled pleas, route coords. Crothnet erupted in triumph. Contacts, converge, Sato's voice cut clean. Shot over, precision munitions, taught on lead heavies. Whispers built to thunder. Artillery rounds arced silent, then bloomed. First Walker's turret vaporized, shrapnel chaining to its squadmates. Radars winked out, Croth chatter fractured. Ambush, flanks exposed, Rios grinned under his hood. Scans haywire, they're painting each other now. Vance rose, rifle slung. Sato collapsed the funnel. Mercer drones on stragglers. Second squad wheeled into the kill corridor, preceded by Rios' logs. Sato's next call, cluster munitions, airburst. Shells popped overhead, fléchettes raining like steel hail. Croth infantry shredded, survivors bolting for the single retreat shoot. Atrax's roar split the net. Sail, what sorcery, their signals bait, Sail stammered. Executor, humans weaponize patience. We read restraint as fear. Their scans, inverse ours. Third squad panicked, piling into the chute. Icons merged on Vance's display, one fat target. Mercer, bridge drop, he triggered. Concealed charges buckled the span ahead. Walkers braked hard, piling into a wreck. Sato zeroed. Final salvo, fires free, ordnance hammered. Explosions chained, ammo cooks, fuel igniting. The chute became a pyre. Vance's team advanced cautious. Smoke curled thick. Rios swept for signals. Squads neutralized, one runner vectoring reserve. She scanned the ridge. Atrax's battle group stirred, reserves massing but sensors dormant. Learning, regroup on me, matrix refresh. Mercer recovered a Croth antenna, splicing it to his drone net. Fresh emissions data, their doctrines got holes we can thread. Sato slung her designator. Orbital windows holding, fleet blind till dawn. Rios patched a fragment, Atrax raging. All sensors maximum, flood the field, no more tricks. Vance's display flared. Enemy radars ignited, every Croth asset screaming active. Peak stabbed her matrix. Got you, she whispered. Rios' algorithms chewed the noise. Targets resolved crisp, hook set. Atrax's command skimmer crested the ridge, flanked by fresh heavies. His claws gripped the console as every sensor in his arsenal blared to life. Radars swept in overlapping cascades. Ladars pinged valleys. Multispectrals hunted heat ghosts. No shadows left, he growled to Sail. Humans hide in silence, drown them in light, deploy all hunter-killers, purge the traps. Sale hesitated, optics flicking to intercepted human bursts, too clean, too patterned. Executor, their response. Deliberate, we escalate, they escalate harder. HFY slammed a talon, screens bloomed with data. Contacts flickered, beacons, decoys, infantry specs. There, converge and crush. 5 new squads rolled out, scans painting the matrix brighter than a star. Treads thundered down revetments, drones swarming ahead. Vance felt the flood through her bones, the electromagnetic storm prickling her skin. Rios's console hummed overload. Every emitter they own, he said. HFY panicked, gave us the map. She nodded, patience inverted, their noise became her sights. Mercer, layer the bait deeper, false fallback positions, pull them into the grid. Mercer coded fast, batteries from scavenged Croth packs juicing new nodes. Beacons pulsed in sequence, mimicking a rooted platoon retreat. Icons danced on the team net. Croth hunters bit hard. First pair dove into a ravine corridor, Rios's pre-mapped vein, walls honeycombed with Mercer's improvised charges. Vance tracked from cover. Sato, hold for pattern lock. Rios parsed the deluge. Scans doctrinal, forward bias flanks light. Gaps widen under saturation, overloads blind them here. He highlighted threads weaving through the chaos. Squads funneled. Emitters screamed mutual interference. Croth Vox cracked. False contacts, but infantry real advance. Sato's laser danced. 3 heavies locked. Coordinated drop. Shells whispered in. Lead Walker brewed first, radar mast shearing. Secondaries ripped the pair. Shrapnel pinged off Mercer's drones, which darted in, kamikaze payloads sparking fuel lines. Third squad veered wild, chasing a Mercer flare. Into the next corridor, narrower, Rios's gap exposed. Pattern repeat, Rios called. Anti-ambush wrote, they cluster scans forward. Vance signaled. Mercer flashbang the flanks. His drones popped EMP bursts, low yield, tuned to Croth frequencies. Sensors stuttered. Infantry faltered. Sato nailed it. Tot perfect. Collapse. Artillery rained precise. Walkers crumpled into one screaming mass, survivors bolting the sole open route. A chute Vance's matrix owned. HFY watched his net dissolve. Impossible. Sensors everywhere. How traps. Sales analysis spiked alarms. They use our emissions, executor, noise maps us, patience, their blade. Too late, Sato's hammer fell, chute sealed. Explosions chained, 5 squads merged to slag, Vance reloaded amid the glow. Rios updated, reserves coiling, but HFY's skimmer beacon pulsed clear, overloaded, isolated. Next noose, she said, team eyes locked. Human quiet turned lethal, deeper pings stirred, orbital assets stirred, spears charging. HFY's final play mast, Mercer grinned. Drones ready for the umbrella. Sato checked windows. Green. Rios traced the command net. He's all in. Vance shouldered her rifle. Restraint snapped. War turned. Rios's fingers danced across the jury-rigged console. Phantom signals bloomed across the spectrum. Mimicked Croth distress calls. Fake human rifle chatter. Explosive echoes from a dozen ghost hotspots. The city lit up like a rebellion in full roar. Captain Vance crouched in the shadow of a gutted hab block, rifle trained on the street. Her team's breath stayed even. Status, she whispered. Hotspots live, Rios murmured, eyes locked on his overlay. They're biting, command net spiking, HFY's reserves scrambling. Vance nodded. Patience had bought this window. The aliens mistook their silence for surrender. Now deception pulled the noose tight. In the mobile command skimmer, War Executor HFY's core slammed his talon on the hollow display. Alarms wailed as red icons flared citywide. Uprising. Humans break at last. Interpreter Sale hunched over his translator pad, mandibles clicking. Signals match their resistance patterns, Executor. Scattered, desperate. Morale collapse confirmed. HFY's optics narrowed. His forces held the city core, but these flares threatened flanks. Central Overwatch stayed locked, sensors blanketing every alley. Split reserves, 3rd cohort to grid 7, 5th to 19. Crush them before they link. Sale relayed the orders. Skimmers hummed to life. Reserves peeled off, racing into the night. The central node thinned, Overwatch drones redeployed, patrols chasing phantoms. Vance's earpiece crackled, Rios's voice cut clean. Confirmed split, Overwatch down 30%. Command skimmer beacon isolated, uplink pulsing solo. Move, Vance ordered. Her team ghosted forward, boots silent on shattered plasteel. Mercer led with his drone swarm, microsensors painting the path. Sato trailed, tablet synced to offboard fires. They hit the perimeter fence at a choke point. Mercer's cutter drone sliced the mesh clean, no sparks. Vance slipped through first, signaling clear. The mobile command node loomed, a hulking Kroth beast on treads, antenna spines quivering. Guards patrolled lazy arcs, optics sweeping phantom directions. Rios's fakes worked overtime, bursts of simulated gunfire yanked heads away. "Flank clear," Mercer whispered. His lead drone perched on a girder deploying a suppressor web. Emissions damped on contact. Vance hand signaled breach. Rios jammed the node's local net. Kroth frequencies folded into white noise. Sato marked the uplink tower, primary kill chain target. They flowed like water. Vance vaulted a low barricade, knife flashing to silence a sentry. Throat cut, body eased down, no alarm. Kaido Rios peeled left, splicing into a power conduit. His tool unspooled fiber optic taps. "Uplink feed live, severing in 3. Atrax paced his command deck. Reports flooded in, false contacts neutralized but more flared. "Push the sweeps, where is the core resistance?" Sale cross-checked signals. "Diffuse, executor, humans panic without coordination, reserves contain it." A sub-officer burst in. "Overwatch gaps, humans jamming sectors?" Atrax snarled. "Impossible, sensors everywhere." He jabbed the central display. Reserves committed, the node stood alone, now vulnerable, but victory beckoned. Vance reached the uplink base. Kroth weld seams glowed under her thermal. Mercer's drone pack hovered, ready to mask the cut. "Go," she breathed. Rios triggered the splice. Explosive charges, Mercer's brew of scavenged cells, and det cord whispered home. The uplink spine sheared with a muffled crack. Sparks died. The node went dark to orbit. Alarms shrieked inside. Atrax whirled. "Uplink severed, secure the node." Too late. Vance's team exfiltrated shadows, ghosts in the machine. Back in their nest, Sato's tablet pulsed green. "Targets locked. Fuel Depot Alpha, comms relay Bravo, air defense Gamma, tot 1 mic." Vance dropped beside her. "Execute." Sato keyed the fire's net. Offboard assets stirred. Hidden human batteries, drone-launched missiles, orbital spears Vance's restraint had held in reserve. No warning, no mercy. Across the city, held chained in 60 seconds flat. First strike, Mercer's spotter drone guided precision munitions into the fuel depot. Kroth tanks erupted, fireballs blooming like suns. Reserve skimmers slewed, engulfed, treads melting, crews boiling out. Second, comms relay vaporized under hypersonic darts. Sato's call perfect, relay spines crumpled, shattering Atrax's net. False hotspots went quiet, real chaos reigned. Third, air defenses chain exploded. Sato's package synced anti-radiation missiles. Kroth domes cracked, secondaries ripping launchers to slag. Skies cleared for the hammer. Atrax clutched his console as shocks rocked the node. "Status, reserves." Sails pad flickered, then blanked. "Comms down, fuel fires spreading, defenses offline." The deck shuddered. Distant booms chained, Atrax's optics widened. Trap, all false. Humans waited. Vance watched the inferno from her vantage. Rios traced the fallout, reserves tangled in kill zones, command isolated. Atrax's beacon solo, orbital window opening. Mercer grinned, drones rearming. "Umbrella primed." Sato nodded. "Fires green." Vance shouldered her rifle. The aliens had escalated atrocities for weeks, raids on civvy holds, public executions to break spirits. They'd read quiet as fear. Restraint snapped. Her team locked eyes. The kill chain hummed live. Deeper in the city, Atrax rallied his guards. "Hold the node, orbitals charge, spears inbound," Sale stammered. "But fires block vectors, humans predicted." A new signal pierced the jam, Rios's pinpoint on the node. Sato's voice ghosted alien freaks, calm as death. "Target acquired." Atrax froze. Human patience wasn't fear. It was the blade. Vance signaled advance. The noose tightened. War turned lethal. Orbital shadows stirred overhead, spears locking heat signatures. Atrax's final massing boiled in the open. Mercer's drones swarmed high, spoofing returns. "Umbrella up, spears blind without us." Rios updated the map. "He's all in, no reserves left." Sato synced the package. "Drop in 10. Vance led the push, team in diamond. Kroth patrols scattered past, chasing ghosts. One spun toward them, Mercer's flash drone popped, blinding optics. Vance's burst dropped it. They closed on the node. Atrax's voice boomed from speakers, defiant. "Humans flee or die." Sale's translation lagged, panic threading it. Vance ignored the bluster. Her scope found a viewport, 8 tracks inside, directing fire teams. Sato, node primary. Adjusting. Her tablet chimed. Orbital spears realigned, human assets Vance had husbanded through occupation hell. The first spear lanced down, node armor buckled, crews spilled out, firing wild. Vance's team poured fire, suppressed rounds chewing sentries. Rios flanked, hacking a hatch. Mercer breached with shaped charge. Inside, smoke, screams. A-Track stood amid wreckage, plasma rifle raised. Vance kicked the door wide. End it! He fired, wild, desperate, her team suppressed. Sato's secondary strikes hammered outside, sealing escapes. A-Trax lunged. Vance sidestepped, rifle butt cracking his mandible. He dropped, optics dimming. Sail raised claws. Mercy! Mercer's drone tased him silent. Vance scanned the deck. Consoles sparked dead. Rios purged data. He slotted the wipe drive. Croth secrets erased. Outside, fires crowned the city. Reserves slagged, orbitals denied. Human civies stirred in bunkers, signals authentic now, uprising real. Vance keyed command net. Core secured, push orders. Hire crackled back. Advance all fronts, occupation breaks. Her team reloaded amid glow. Quiet had multiplied force. Aliens learned too late, underestimate human restraint at peril. Deeper pings echoed, Croth reinforcements inbound, but maps showed traps primed. Vance smiled faint. Next noose waited. Humanity fought back. Captain Vance leveled her rifle across the shattered barricade. Dust swirled from Croth plasma craters. Her team held the perimeter, shadows in the ruined hab block. She thumbed the open channel. War Executor A-Trax Corps, this is Captain Mara Vance, Human Special Operations Command. Cease all fire. Release the civilian hostages in your custody. Do it now as proof of compliance. We grant a ceasefire corridor to your designated extraction zone. 20 minutes. Respond. Static hissed, then Sale's voice crackled through, the alien interpreter's tone clipped. Executor A-Trax rejects your terms, human. Your silence broke. Morale collapsed. Croth forces advance. Surrender positions. Vance's lips thinned. She'd waited months for this. Human cities smoldered under occupation. No broadcasts, no uprisings, just quiet rebuilds in bunkers. Croth read patience as fear. Now they paid. Clock runs, Sale. Civilians first. Corridor opens on confirmation. Rios crouched beside her, tablet glowing faint. His fingers danced over signals intercepts. They're prepping breakout cap, emissions spiking, emergency beacons priming. Mercer grunted from his drone perch. Traps armed, drones loitering. Sato nodded, eyes on her firing tablet. Orbital window in 3, spears hot. Vance watched the command node through her scope. A-Trax's silhouette paced inside, mandibles clacking orders. Croth troops massed at hatches, 6 fire teams, heavies mounting up. No civilian signals, lies, explosions rocked the block. Croth demo charges breached their own walls. A-Trax's voice boomed over local net, translated live by Sale. Breakout Alpha, fleet support inbound, purge the weak. Beacons flared, Rios's tablet pinged hard. Got 'em, 3 pulses, tight beam to orbit, fleet signatures responding, Croth Heavies ETA-15. Lock and handoff. Vance snapped. Rios nodded, data streaming to Sato. Sato's fingers flew. Firing solution computed, orbital interdiction authorized, spears away. Vance's scope caught the first glint high atmosphere. Human assets, husbanded through hell, silent in geosync. No warnings, no mercy now. A-Trax's breakout surged. Croth Heavies lumbered forward, plasma lances sweeping. Fire teams flanked, claws scraping rubble. Vance's team opened up, suppressed rounds stitching sentries. One Croth dropped, optics shattering. Flank left, Vance barked. Rios peeled off, ghosting through smoke. Mercer loosed drones, small killers buzzing low. Sato's voice stayed ice. Primary inbound, impact in 10. Croth fire chewed Vance's cover. Shrapnel pinged her plate. She rolled, sighted, fired. A fire team leader crumpled, mandible blasted. A-Trax bellowed inside the node, redirecting. Beacons pulsed stronger. Rios hissed from flank. Fleet lock confirmed. Croth battle cruisers vectoring drop pods. Sato tapped execute. Sky cracked. First spear lanced down. A rod from God, kinetic fury. Node armor buckled. Croth spilled out, firing wild. Vance's team poured lead, precise, unrelenting. Bodies piled. Secondary spears live, Sato called. Sealing exits. A-Trax lunged from the breach himself, plasma rifle raised. Desperate sweep, Vance sidestepped a bolt. Suppress. Her team lit him up, non-lethal rounds cracking exoskeleton. He staggered, optics dimming, sail clawed from cover. Mercy humans, terms. Mercer's drone zipped in, taser prongs extended, sail dropped twitching. Inside, smoke-choked consoles, sparks flew. Vance kicked debris aside, rifle trained. Atrax groaned, rising slow. She planted boot on his rifle. "End it, Executor, you're done," he snarled through pain. "Fleet comes, beacon sent, your silence ends in ash." Vance hauled him up, zip ties biting Croth chitin. "Silence was choice, yours was mistake." Rio slotted the wipe drive into main console. Data purged, Croth codes, fleet manifests, occupation plans. Gone. Outside, secondary spears hammered. Croth heavies slagged mid-charge. Escape routes fused to glass. Fires crowned the habs. Sato checked tablet. Fleet interdicted, spears chained their drives, debris now. Mercer grinned, reeling drones. Corridors ours, Cap. Vance dragged Atrax to the command post. Civilians huddled in adjacent bays, 60 souls, signals faked earlier to lure. Real now, authentic. She keyed the broadcast net, wideband every occupied zone. Human frequencies only, pierced Croth jamming. "All Croth commands, this is Captain Vance." War Executor Atrax Corps captured alive. Terms mirror ours. Release civilians, cease fire, corridor opens, comply or join the debris. Atrax's optics flickered. He strained against ties. "Lies, my fleet." Static cut him. Vance muted interpreter feed, let him stew. Rios patched and intercepts. Croth channels lit up, panic chatter. "Humans speak, coordinates raining." Vance smiled faint. Quiet had mapped every emitter, every beacon, every weakness. Deeper pings echoed, reinforcements probing, but traps primed, nooses tightened. Her team reloaded amid glow. Advance orders inbound. From the node speakers, Atrax's net crackled unbidden. Human voices overlaid Croth screams. Calm, precise. "Target Alpha, grid 4792, spear drop, confirm." Atrax froze, voices like coordinates. Human restraint unleashed. Vance watched his mandibles slacken, first crack in Croth steel. War Executor Atrax Corps strained against human bonds. Pain throbbed in his cracked mandible. The node reeked of ozone and burnt chitin. Human Captain Vance paced, her team securing data cores. Silence gripped him, months of it. Human cities dark, no resistance. Morale shattered, he'd reported. Occupation solid, now this. His personal comm buzzed faint, jury-rigged by the interpreter drone before purge. Sail twitched nearby, silenced. Atrax keyed it desperate. Fleet status, response hissed back, garbled, edged with fire. Then clear, human voices intruded, precise, mechanical. Grid 1245, fleet vector confirmed, orbital spear chain, fire. Explosions bloomed orbital feeds, his beacons answered by death. Atrax's claws scraped deck. Impossible, silence meant fear. Vance loomed over. Silence meant prep. He glared up. Humans humble in defeat, no, competent, patient, deadly broadcast looped her terms, zones echoed chaos, Croth lines fractured, reinforcements pinged, traps waiting, Atrax slumped. Underestimated restraint. Perilous. Captain Vance ignored the bluster. Her scope found a viewport, Atrax inside, directing fire teams, but he'd already fallen. Reserves slagged outside, orbital denial locked. Rio's full purge. He nodded, drives whirring. Mercer scanned bays. Civi secure, med teams en route. Sato pocketed tablet. All fronts green, push confirmed. Vance keyed higher. Node Alpha down, Atrax secured, broadcast live, uprising sync now. Crackle back, solid copy, humanity advances, break the chains. Team exfiltrated, Atrax slung like cargo. City stirred, bunkers emptying, signals real. Fires lit, human resolve. Croth learned late, patience multiplied force. Restraint weaponized, deeper pings grew. Next noose tightened. Vance's grip steadied on rifle, war turned. But from Atrax's dragged frame, a whisper escaped. "Coordinates, everywhere." She didn't reply, action spoke. Sergeant Rios ghosted the flank, tablet humming. Beacons locked pre-broadcast. He'd mapped them weeks back, enemy emissions a gift. Patient hunt. Croth breakout faltered under spears. He flanked hatch, code slicer humming. Breached clean. Inside, secondary nodes sparked. He wiped secondaries. "Capox data gone." Vance's voice netted calm. "Good hunt." He smiled, signals to targets. Human edge. Lieutenant Sato watched spears chain kill. Calm built certainty, precision before boom, tablet chimed final. Interdiction complete, Croth fleet ghosts. Team stacked breach. She covered rear. Fire's coordinator turned assault queen. Warrant Officer Mercer wrangled drones mid-firefight. Scrap batteries juiced killers. Improv won fields. Taser dropped sail. Breach charge prepped next node. Tools ready cap. Atrax heard it all. Human net pierced his. Voices droned grids. Spears followed. Patience. No. Strategy Croth's skill crushed worlds. Human restraint conquered occupiers. He sagged. Fleet silence now theirs. Vance broadcast peaked. Zones crumbled. Humanity fought back. Fuck yeah. Word count 1523.